We wanted to give you a quick overview of how the information that you're approving is input into the system and ends up in front of you. Your tenant will go through a pre-qualification, and once pre-qualified for the application, will be able to begin it from their dashboard. On their dashboard, they're able to see their application number, which program they're enrolled in, the current status of their application, and a brief explanation of what that status means. Here we provide a link over to 211 if they need to have any kind of information and some important disclosures. When they go into their application, they're going to provide their personal information, and then more importantly, they're going to try to identify you as well. When they go to this landlord form, they're able to search you by the property name, which might be Farmview Acres, and managed by this company and with this contact. If you have multiple contacts for a property, they would list the property each time for each contact. You can also search by the person's name. So we can see here we have Brad's Hennepin and Brad Jump. And we can also search by the name of the company itself. So we can see that when we type this in, it's able to search the contact, and it's also able to search the management company as well as the property. If they aren't able to find you in the list, when they get to the bottom, they can see this Add Landlord. And this might be the majority of what comes through your initial approval. When you click on the Add Landlord for an applicant, they can choose whether or not they know the company, the person, or both. Here we ask them to fill out as much information that they know about the company, in this case, as possible. And many times, for a lot of tenants, they might know the company name or at least part of it. They may not know the email, phone number, or address. In these cases, in order to allow the application to go through, we create a placeholder. We create a placeholder name that is after their address. We create a placeholder company name that will likely be updated by you when you are filling out the approval form. And we also put in a placeholder for the contact. This is not searchable right now by anyone else. It is only here for this particular applicant. Whenever they put in the name of the person, we then use that example here. There we go. Where it'll create a placeholder again. This time the placeholder person first, person last is used for a placeholder of the organization. This gives you the ability, whenever you go through the approval, to correct this information and apply the correct management company, owner company, management contact, and so on in your approval. When they're filling out their assistance, you may notice that you get that ledger. They designate who is on that and what their current eviction status is, and then they will select the months that they want to receive assistance for. This is where they are supposed to put their monthly amount due. So let's say it's $1,200 per month. And this is the amount that they have paid that is credited to this month. So this may not be an amount that was paid in this month, but it's the amount that has been credited to this amount due. And if there are any fees due, you would put those here. And then they can go in here and select if they've been in a CARES program prior that they may have received assistance on, and if there was any balance left as a result of enrollment in that program. This amount still due is the amount that could still be eligible within the program. You, when you go into your approval process, are able to update these amounts to what is truly done. So you may know more likely whether or not this $500 that they're entering is correct or not. Once they're done, they will save and continue and complete the remainder of the application. After the application has been submitted, you will receive an approval request in your inbox. You can click on the Review Request link, which will open it up into a new window, where as a new property, we can see that we have 4 stages here for us to go through, where we have the approval, the property-related companies, payment information, and the confirmation. As we scroll down, we can see the tenant's name, which in this case we're saying it's your tenant, and their address, the amount of aid that they have requested, which you can either approve as is, in which we can see the rent due that they submitted, the amount that they said they paid, and the amount that they have in the other assistance. You can also do corrections to this amount by clicking on the amount needs correction. On the bottom, you can see where the amounts the tenant entered are, while above, you could type in the corrected amounts. So in this case, we're saying $525.33. The fees are good, and you actually know that the CARES program paid not $500, but $724.67, thus zeroing out the amount of assistance required for that column. You can go down and you can put in any other corrected amounts, including adding in additional aid if it wasn't originally recorded by the applicant. After we do that, we can see the difference between the $1,450 and the $700, which is the final amount. We can go ahead and click on Save and Continue. And this is where we can see the property information, where we can see any existing properties that we have to choose from. In this case, we can see the one that we're currently on. We can also correct the name of that property by just deleting the name in the box, by highlighting it like we have here, and just start typing over it. In this case, we'll call it the Hallows of Min. The address is okay. And here we're going to put in our property owner information as it's reported on the W-9, and we can also do the same for the property manager. Pardon. So we'll go ahead and call this company Property Owners are us, and we'll put in the contact information for the phone number. We'll do this, and then for the street address, you can start typing in your street address, and once you get to a somewhat complete point, you can see that you can select from an auto-completed address, so you don't have to fill out everything. You can select that the property manager is the same as the owner, or you can go down like we're about to and fill in the property manager company information. So let's call this management or managing company. And we've done this a couple times, so we'll say managing company 4. Put in its phone number. And then we'll do the same thing on the address here. So there we go. And we'll save and continue. And here we can select which one of those companies is the one that will be receiving the funds that ultimately needs to receive the 1099 from the organization. Go ahead and type in our TIN here. You can create multiple organizations whenever you receive new properties in, so you don't always have to use the exact same one in the cases where you have DBAs. So this will allow you to put in the same TIN since they might all be on the same company, but also specify the DBA on the previous screen. Upload the same 1099. Let's select that. Get uploaded here. There we go. We can see the W-9 is uploaded. And then here we can choose our payment type that we want. So let's go ahead and do ACH. We'll choose checking. The routing number, we've got to type in our routing number from our check or from our account number and make sure it matches. Same with our account number. And then we can download the ACH form if you don't have access to a voided check. Otherwise, you can upload your voided check or the completed ACH form. So let's go ahead and select that. There we go. I'll upload. And then there we go. See void check uploaded. And we'll save and continue. And then because we did adjustments to our ledger, we need to upload backup documentation that justifies that. So That's generally an accounting ledger, or you can see an example here of what we're looking for, marking what information would help us determine the justification of the changes. Go and select that document. Upload that. There we go. Then down here we have the simple terms of the agreement. Type in our name. We do need to make it match what is typed out above right here. If you type out what's above and it still doesn't turn green, you can try putting in a space at the end. Sometimes there's a trailing space at the end of some people's names, and because it has to be an exact match, that can cause it to not match. So there you go. We'll go ahead and click done. Are we sure? Yes. Which now takes us to our properties view, where we can see the Hallows of Min, our address, who the owner is, who the managing company is, and also how many applications are associated with it. And if we open it up here, we can see the applications associated with it directly here, and any communications. If we look at the contacts, we can see the owner and managing companies that have been selected for this property, as well as the contact John Smith and his information there. And then on this screen, if we happen to have typed in something wrong on the name of the property or its address, we can correct that here. When we go to our all applications list, I'm going to click on that again there we go. We can see the list out of the applications that we have access to. Because I am with the property and also a contact on the application, I can see the applicant's information. If I was not on a contact on the application, I would see confidential there, and that's just a privacy consideration that we make for the tenant. If I am a member of the property, I would see the property's contact information here. And then over here we have access to the approval form. We can see this one's in final review, so we don't actually need to go and look at that form. But if you come to this view and you see that it's pending property manager approval, you can click on this button to open up the approval form rather than wait for the email to arrive. So sometimes when you log in, you might see multiple applications for the same property. Those applications have a much simpler process. Let's go ahead and illustrate that. And just like magic, now we have another application here for John Cena. This is pending landlord property manager acceptance, which means that when we go into this form here, it'll be ready for us to approve it. But you'll notice that it is also on the Hallows of Min with John Smith as the contacts, who we are logged in as up here. So we'll go ahead and click on approval form here rather than waiting for the email. And now we can see that the approval form is limited to just the approval and the confirmation. We no longer have to fill out the middle portion. So down here we can look through and say, yes, we do approve this amount. Then here we can just sign the agreement and we're done. We'll come back here. We can see there are two applications on the Hallows of Min. When we go to our applications list, we can see that both of these applications are now in final review, and we can track them through their progress right through here.